In 1957, a group of women came together to form the second most important segregational organization behind the Capital Citizen Council, the Mothers League of Central High School. After the decision in 1954, Plessy versus Ferguson for integration in school systems, Central High School of Little Rock decided to gradually integrate their school. The league was created by Merrill Taylor, a saleswoman of Little Rock, Pulaski County, but it was ran by Nadine Aaron, who was the president at first. They had their first public meeting August 23rd at the Hotel Lafayette. And Aaron asserted that the league objective was to, quote, find ways and means to prevent integration of races at the Central High School and to provide a rallying point for all parents who are like-minded, unquote. The vice president, who later became the president after Aaron stepped down later in September of 1957, was probably the most outspoken person in the league by far, and she said, quote, the whites have fallen asleep at the switch, unquote. Winthrop Rockefeller called this group of women a factor that changed the original plan of integration for Little Rock schools. One thing about these league members were the majority of them were married, lower middle class, and working class women that were not paid for their employment. Only about 1/5 of its 165 members in October of 1957 were mothers of kids that went to Central High, and Margaret Jackson had 2 children that went to Central High School. The league had about 21% participation from mothers who were also a part of the Capital Citizen Council, as the council was more on the violent side and encouraged encouraged violence and of harassing of integration. Aaron told the league that at their second rally on August 27th that we do not approve of violence and that it would hinder our work. The league at the beginning was looking to stress the well-being of their children, as they believed that their children was going to were going to quote struggle for education, unquote, because black children were in were in because black children were present in their classrooms. Being the government, the league did not like how the government was taking away their rights as a state, as they felt that forcing integration on their children when the citizens, when their parents did not get to have a right to vote for if they wanted to or not. Jackson believed, and even though Jackson says that she did not have any animosity towards blacks, she still believed that integration would lead to bloodshed, and she believed that integration would lead to a widespread of missegregation and didn't want her kids a part of it. As you can see, Margaret Jackson was by far the main leader and the biggest spokesperson for this group. It was recorded that really only about 5 women spoke on record, and on top of that, it was more of the fact, and it was more that even less women were present in a lot of the meetings. On November of 1957, the elections for the Little Rock City Board of Directors, was the league was able to pull 40% of the voters for segregation. And even though the league did not encourage their group to join, to encourage their group to be a part of the violence, they still encouraged their members to join the rallies outside and around the high school. And the league even organized a walkout in October, on October 3rd, for the kids, for everyone, for all the kids, and they even harassed the school officials who did not stand for segregation. As the league even came after Daisy Bates, who was the president of the NAACP at this time, by sending her individual letters. The they also sent the police chief Gene Smith a letter to himself, a letter writing because they believed that he should have followed with the segregationists instead of being a man of following the law and not following his personal views. And as you can see right here, I found one letter that was written by Margaret on behalf of the mother the Mothers League, and she writes it to Mr. Jess Matthews, and she writes to Mr. Matthews that I'm just going to read the first paragraph, that it is positive conviction of an increasing number of white parents of Little Rock and the Mothers League of Central High, in particular, that condition at the Central High School have reached a disgraceful low. We are protesting with every impulse and energy of our soul the way you are conducting yourself in the affairs of the school. The common decencies of one white person to another are being outraged, to say nothing of the respect a white child has the right to expect of a white school official. To be hated by a child is certainly no compliment to a grown up. Specifically, we are Mothers League and we resent and protest the following outrages. And she goes on to name 10 outrages, which, in my opinion, were none I felt were fair. She, on number 5, she writes, "We have information that yesterday, December 12th, a Negro girl kicked a white boy. The white boy struck the Negro girl. The Negro girl was exonerated. The white boy was disciplined. This resent and protest." If we were to dig deeper, there was probably more to this story than what we see. And then on the next page, she goes on and writes at the very number 10, he writes, "A copy of this letter is being mailed to Virgil Blossom, which is someone who is on the school board, and also to the school board. This is our first step toward correcting the insufferable outrage the white parents and their children are suffering at the hands of Negro dominated school administration." In 1958 of September, there was a referendum of closing the school down, which the league helped assist the Capital Citizen Council with. This referendum helped shut down the Central High School for a year, in which it did not open back up until August of 1959. But after the once the school opened back up in 1959, the league had no did little to nothing to stop the integration because in the elections of 1959, before the school opened back up, the school board was highly way majority for integration, and so this stopped a lot of their momentum and shut down the league and essentially shut down the Capital Citizen Council. Even though the Mothers League of Central High School was a villain in Arkansas history, they still played a part in helping delay integration to Little Rock Central High School, and they helped shut down the school for a year before they had it reopened. The Mothers League played a, played a part in history. It played a part in some bad Arkansas history, but it was still history at the end of the day. Thank you.